goodness, he's really getting on my nerves. Welcome back to another episode of Not My Bag. I'm Joe, and I'm here today on my own, but I'm not alone because I have Mrs. Essex. It's Jessy Potts from Love Island. Woo! Great applause from the crowd there. Great applause. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, babe. I think you're one of the first to ask me back on here how I am. So, isn't that lovely?
Always considerate. Always have to be.
What a lovely girl.
Try.
How have things been for you recently?
Wild. They've been crazy. It's obviously, my whole world has been flipped upside down and set into a whirlwind, but loving every second.
I can imagine. So how long's it been since you guys came out now? Is it like a couple of weeks?
I think it's just over 3 weeks.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's been a lifetime, and also at the same time, I feel like I was in the villa 2 days ago.
I was going to say, you've done like This Morning, OK Magazine spread, you've done the works.
Yeah,
how's things with Joey? You in Essex with him at the minute?
No, I'm not living there.
Okay.
I live with my best friend, and I live in London as well, so it's not too far to get to each other. So I just spent the night at his last night.
Right.
So definitely just bouncing between mine and his and seeing each other when we can. But no, definitely not moved in yet. Everyone keeps wondering when I'm moving, but not yet.
Well, there was the big question on the show, wasn't it? With his busy lifestyle, how you're going to keep up. Have you been keeping up with his lifestyle?
I have been keeping up with the lifestyle. I think, like I said, if you make time, you can make it work. And we have been, obviously, and not with each other as much as maybe some of the other islanders.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected because we both live in London. We can visit each other whenever we want.
Yeah, of course.
He's probably like one of the busiest people I've met, but he's still been making time, so
yeah,
it works.
I think also you got together at a little bit of a later point than some of the other couples as well. So like they've obviously had that more intense time a bit longer. So I guess a lot of the couples have come out and are still having dates, and do you know what I mean? Like kind of starting things in the real world. Have you been on any dates since you've left?
We've been on a couple. I think it's hard to go on the dates when there's so much going on, all these events.
Yeah.
But we're definitely making time, and we're talking about going to all these restaurants and stuff. We've got this massive bucket list of things we're trying to
Tell me a few, please. I need recommendations.
Honestly, he keeps trying to surprise me, and I'm not a surprise person. So he said to me last night, he was like, I want to take you here, but I'm not going to tell you where they are because it's a surprise.
That's nice though.
Outfits though.
I agree with that. I agree. That really stresses me out.
There's one place where you need to like really like red carpet vibes. I was like,
really? For dinner?
For dinner,
I'd be bloating and all sorts. I saw you went to Sheesh though.
Yeah, I've been to Sheesh like 6 times and I've been out 3 weeks. So it is an addiction.
I feel like Joey loves Sheesh.
He's there all the time.
Yeah.
He'll go there every day.
Every picture I see, he loves Sheesh. I love Sheesh, but the food is so amazing and so big, I never get drunk in there because I'm always scoffing my face.
And I'm so obsessed with the strawberry daiquiris, but I don't think they get me that drunk.
Yeah, same.
So you need to have like 10 of them in like 10 minutes, don't you?
Yeah, empty calories.
Yeah,
empty calories. I saw a video, I think it was Matilda, Harriet, Grace and yourself like strutting down the street. You look like a girl gang. Are you guys like close? What's the vibe there?
I felt like I was being kicked out with this time in that video. Like, it was so embarrassing. It was not approved.
So yeah, because I think the way the shot was, it was a landscape thing, wasn't it? And then they pulled it in and it looked like you were being chucked out.
Yeah, no, I literally straight after that video, I was like, I'm not doing it, I'm going to the bush. So I literally took myself out of the equation. It was not approved.
You look great though.
Thank you. Yeah. It was really cute, but no, I definitely needed to get out of that situation. It was just walking into a bush and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel like on a pavement in the UK, I think 4 people abreast is too much.
Yeah, it was not it.
And being, dipping in and out of Essex at the minute, there's obviously a lot of lingo you've got to get used to. How many times have you heard the word ream since
Honestly, the amount of times I have people saying to me, you look ream. I was like, thanks, guys. I didn't even know what it was before. I had never heard the song, and I went to my friend's birthday and they had like a silent disco.
Right.
And they ran off and put ream on, and I was like, what is this? I was like trying to turn it off, and they were like, no, you have to stay on. I was like, I'm turning it off. Like, this is shit. So and then it came on as ream and everyone was singing to me. I was like, oh.
The way that resurged whilst he was in the villa.
Insane.
Is absolutely wild. And the fact that you've got like Camila Cabello like recording to it.
Literally.
And yeah, it was absolutely everywhere and is still, sustained since. Do you think he'll do a live performance?
I hope so.
Has he
Although I
done
don't know
one
if I
yet?
can watch it. It might give me the ick.
I was going to say, I saw that clip of the club appearance. It was like, if I say secret, you say... Honestly, it kills me, but the man knows what the people
I've got some TikTok
want.
sounds saved. I'm like when can I make him do Reem?
Have you? Are you a big TikToker at the minute?
I love TikTok. I've
do
always
you?
used to make some funny ones, just like messing around with my friends.
Right.
So I want to get Joey involved, but I think it might
Defo.
take quite a lot of persuading.
Is he not a TikToker?
He wants to get into TikTok more,
Okay.
but I'm not sure I can get him to do the ones that I want him to do because it's basically slated.
The apple dance. We'll do the apple dance together.
Can you imagine Joey trying to do that?
I asked
slip
Josh to do it, like Mimi and Josh when they were here, and he just sat there and was like,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah, literally, same as Joey.
I thought, well, you know, I tried.
Worth a shot.
I
Worth a shot.
tried.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly that. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've seen so many TikToks about everyone whilst the show was on, but I saw one. Did you try on outfits of like what you would wear in the villa like a year ago?
Yeah. So this, I started my whole Love Island process last year.
Right. Okay.
So I bought the whole wardrobe, flew out, supposed to go in for Casa. So I had everything.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then, I was out there for a week to do Casa. I met with the producers and the directors and everything. And they decided that, they said that I'd be wasted as Casa.
Right.
So they wanted to fly me home so that I could be a bombshell.
Okay.
So there's no point being out there for Casa when no one's going in.
Yeah.
So they flew me home, kept me on hold for like 2 weeks, and then realised there wasn't enough time in the season. And obviously, when you're going in that late anyway,
I wouldn't want to.
No.
It's. I feel like it's just so hard. It's like feeding someone to the piranhas
exactly.
at that late.
And I
Who
didn't
were
even
the
want to be a
two?
Casa girl. Like, I think as a Casa girl, you have to graft. No, I'm not that type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure about this. But I was like, oh, why not? It's the opportunity. And
Right.
then it didn't end up happening. So I was like, I've got all these outfits. I want to
So
do
then you
it.
did that video.
I did a TikTok. And then
Yeah.
I forgot it was even there. I went on it this year and I came out and everyone was like, she manifested. Which obviously,
There was so much
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like, she manifested this journey.
I mean, yeah, I'm a manifestor anyway, so I back it. But at the same time, that was actually technically so I had the outfits for last year.
You've really had a journey as well. But that's also a compliment to you that they thought, no, we're not going to like waste you with Casa, because
Yeah,
it is
loved
tough
it.
on the girls. Like even this year, it was shorter this year as well, wasn't it? I think the girls were saying,
Yeah, it was so short, but
Yeah.
it felt like a lifetime.
I know, I can imagine. And then, yeah, it's just a lot of grafting. And I know what you mean. You kind of just want to feel like the people want you.
Yeah, and
So,
then even when you come back in, I feel like I've watched previous seasons and you're still kind of known as the Casa girls, which I think this year we kind of everyone integrated really well.
yeah,
Whereas I wasn't a massive fan. I was like, I'll get myself back in. I was like, that's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm very glad that everything has for a reason. And I didn't expect to be single of the year on, but here we were again.
Everything happens for a
Single
reason.
again. And then, so came on this year and it worked out for the best. So good things come to those who wait.
I love that. If it wasn't Love Island, would you have done any other show? Because I know Love is Blind and Married at First Sight are on at the minute. Would you ever do something like that, or have done something like that? Sorry.
No, I haven't done anything like that. But my dad always said to me when I was younger, because everyone kind of joked that I'd always go on a TV show. My dad
Right.
said, if you're going to go on a TV show, don't do Love Island.
Ah,
And he was like, go on First Dates. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe.
First Dates is cute, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but I don't think I could do Love is Blind or Married at First Sight. Like, that seems so intense. And you have to get married on it, don't you?
I think the Married at First Sight one is so intense because it's all of the families meeting at first as well. So you've just got so many opinions and there's so many fights.
Yeah.
Like I saw an article saying that half of the cast have tried to leave halfway through this season of Married at First Sight, like the filming anyway.
No way.
So yeah, I think
don't
you're
I
better
could do
doing
it.
Love
Yeah,
Island.
and also I wouldn't want to turn up in a wedding gown, get to the end of the aisle and just not be attracted to them in the slightest.
I know.
Like, not on everything, but at the same time, I feel like you have to be initially attracted.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to read it on my face. Like, I'm so facially expressive.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it
Yeah, 100%.
for me.
So we'll speak about your entrance into the villa this year. You must have gone in knowing that what you were about to do was going to cause some waves. How was the feeling? Like, how did you feel going in?
Well, my dad said to me, what are you going to do when you're going in? I'm like, fuck shit up. So that's the attitude I went in with.
And you did.
And I did. I tried.
Yeah.
And I literally I just went in. I was like, I'm going to speak to everyone. And I kind of didn't get too close to the girls too quickly because I was like, well, I don't want to get close to you and then not be able to take your map.
Yeah.
So if I want them. So I kind of took a step back. And yeah, I just spoke to literally every single person in there. Everyone jokes that I was just on a madness because towards the end of the season, they're like, you walked in like the cutesy little girl, and then you were just speaking to everyone's men, saying they're all surprising you and they're all flirting with you.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, all the girls are going crazy.
Who were your top three before going in?
Joey was always number one.
Yeah.
Io was up there.
Mm-hmm.
And who else was on there? Will. I think Will was on there as well.
Yeah, okay.
So those are the three that I was probably spoke to the most when I first went in.
Yeah. Were you surprised at Joey's reaction to you, considering everything that had happened with him?
Yes. So my thing was, before I went in, I spoke to my friend and I was like, I fancy Joey, but I'm not going to go straight for him because I think everyone goes straight after him. And I was like, that's not what's happening. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play into that. But then it came to like choosing someone for a date and I was like, why not? Like, if at this point I thought he was besotted with Grace. So I
Which it did seem like as well from watching it.
So exactly. So I thought I'd choose him for a date, and worst case scenario, he turns around and is like, right, I'm not interested, but I'll be your wingman. Yeah. And then best case scenario is his head turned. Yeah. And as soon as he walked out, he literally was
his head turned
all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
how was the feeling of going back in and then obviously the tension between yourself and Grace? Because obviously everything's sweet now, but that first week must have been a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was intense.
Yeah.
I never expected Grace to be my best friend when we first walked in, but I didn't expect it to be as frosty.
I thought you were going to fight at one point.
Honestly, it was not great. But I think it was just uncomfortable, but I expected it to be a little bit more welcoming because obviously it happened with Samantha, but I get it's a different situation. At the same time, I was a Bombshell. I was supposed to go in there and speak to everyone. Yeah. So I think I have watched it back and... Oh, have you? Yeah, literally didn't show me having any conversations with any girls for like 5 days, isn't it? Yeah, it was hard because... it painted you out, the edit, as if you like weren't really a girl's girl and you just went in there like, so it was hard because like in terms of the conversations with the girls, who did you kind of speak to at the start? Did you form any friendships like, the first few days, or was it literally just kind of like riding solo? I think it was difficult because I knew I had to, like I said, steal someone's man. So I didn't want to get too close myself, but at the same time it was a little bit just a bit awkward because I was moving mad and everyone didn't want to get too close to me. So Jess was actually one of the first people to like welcome me in. And all the girls were like lovely, but at the same time, I think everyone was kind of a bit on the back foot and maybe not as welcoming as they were with other people. But that's probably because I was moving the way I was moving. Yeah. So I get it, but at the same time, it's intense in there and it's so overwhelming. Like first few days, like I literally. Everyone cries in there, but it was just, I walked in, I was like, whoa, I just don't feel like I can talk to any of the girls. Yeah. It's so many heightened emotions. Exactly, yeah. And you had the terrace kiss. Yeah. Talk me through that. Well, obviously, so Joey just invited me to the terrace for a chat. And I've seen the show. We all know how the terrace works. Yeah. I mean... I didn't expect it, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised. And Grace was in the vicinity. Yeah, she was in the fire pit, wasn't she? So there was eye line too. Well, we sat down and then we heard the girls walk to the fire pit and we literally... Because it is, we were saying this yesterday with Kieran and Nicole, that it is so much smaller than you'd think it was and you can hear things. Yeah, you can hear opposite sides of the villa. So considering they were sat basically next to us, we were like, we'll just move over to the other side and still... have like eye lines, then we sat on the floor and rolled around a little bit. So it definitely made it look way worse than it needed to be. But at the same time, I thought it was over between them at that point. I'd chosen him. They'd had a heated discussion. Yeah. I thought that had ended it. It must have been a weird one as well because as a viewer, I feel like what happened was Joey went in there. It was more of a friendship thing with Sam. Then it was lust with Grace because obviously they had a previous connection outside. But then actually with you, it was like someone that he could see himself with in the future. But I think naturally because he is such a showman and really like knows how to play a TV show, it just came across super messy. Yeah. But that must have been difficult for you. Because you've just gone in there and literally gone with your feelings and then really liked him. But he had baggage in the villa, which not many people have that much baggage. Yeah, he had so much baggage throughout the whole thing. It wasn't even just Grace. Every time anyone came in, it was an ex. Do you know what I mean? So that must have been challenging for you. But how was it throughout then rebuilding a kind of relationship with Grace? Because you ended up being kind of quite good friends towards the end, didn't you? I think... if we hadn't had Casa, Grace and I probably wouldn't have got as close as we did. Right. For me, of all the girls, I think Casa was for the girls this year. Like, yeah, it was. We all got so close. I think the girls really didn't perform as much as normal. Like we weren't being as messy as you'd normally expect.
No, the Casa boys were the messiest.
Yeah.
You guys were really chill. We were just going crazy.
Enjoying each other's company. So I think with Joey being removed from the situation, we could actually get on. And then by the time we went back, we were friends, and Joey literally was like, how has this happened? We weren't talking before you left.
Yeah.
So,
did that make him feel a way, or was he fine?
I think it probably made him feel a bit uncomfortable. Not because him and Grace are friends.
Yeah.
It's just when we left, we weren't talking, and then we came back, and then we were friends. And I think he was so protective over what we have that he didn't want anything to get in the way of that or ruin that.
Of course.
Like he'd say to me, like, you're not as like all over me when Grace is around. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be. Like, I am still a girl's girl. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
So it definitely made him think, like, what is the intentions here? I think that's why he was so, like, struggling so much to understand it.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't see you reconnect, so it must be quite weird to throw you off that you're coming back. Like, hey,
we were walking around going, we're going to couple up now. And just like, what has happened in Casa?
Yeah.
So I think he was probably worried that I was going to get rid of him.
Yeah. And then there was there was that continual thing from then till the end of the series that Grace still had feelings for him and all of that side of it. And it was perpetuated by both some other islanders, and then he would kind of make jokes for it. How did you feel about that? Because you must have known there was nothing left there.
Yeah, I knew there was nothing there. It was honestly so boring at this point to keep going around in circles, because I know Joey kept bringing it up as well, but then at the same time, he got to a point where he wouldn't bring it up, but he'd back himself if it came up.
Right.
So then it was just continuous. I was like, guys, can we just drop this narrative now? It's boring. Grace doesn't want to be with Joey. Joey doesn't want to be with Grace. Yeah. Let's move on.
But no one would drop it.
No one would drop it.
There was a lot of things this series that no one would drop. It was the Mimi and Io thing, and it was that, and it was every week. And
every single time, every challenge, we were like, this can't happen again, and then we go around in circles. And it's still, we still have more drama from it every single time.
There was drama every day this series.
It was manic. It was honestly crazy in there. At the same time, we were all besties. So then as soon as the challenge came up, it was like, you've done this, you've done this.
I said this to Mimi and Josh. I feel like everyone waited. It was like therapy to wait to the challenges to then really get out how they felt, which is obviously...
We get told it's a public forum. So basically, every time that phrase is used over the VOG, it's right.
Public forum, that's crazy. There's like a Reddit thread.
Say your opinions, like say what you want to say, get it off your chest now. And
but then you've got to go back and just sit there and say, hey, you're right.
As soon as the games were over, it was like, okay.
Yeah, that's...
So we've just been arguing this entire game, and then you're besties again. So it was weird, but it was a great form of therapy.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least you're getting it out.
Yeah.
What would you say were the biggest hurdles that you faced in the villa?
Definitely having Joey's ex in there, and then another ex, and then another ex. So that was a big thing. It was like, come on now.
Yeah.
And then also probably the fact that definitely the fact that everyone kept using the whole ex thing against us.
Yeah.
And then the fact that we weren't closed off. So we were getting to know other people, but we didn't want to be, but because we hadn't officially said we were closed off, we kind of had to have conversations and entertain it. And that definitely got used against us. Like obviously Joey getting to know Lola when there was no interest there, but at the same time I'd said I wasn't closed off, and he said he wasn't closed off. So
it kind of has to happen in a way.
You had to have the conversation. So then after that conversation with Lola, that definitely got used.
Yeah.
That's it. But like production wise, I was really bad for like talking when I shouldn't be talking.
I saw this. I saw you saying this on a clip.
Really bad. So but obviously there's only so many cameras in there, so many people that can listen to conversations and film it and everything.
Okay.
So I'd be like, I'm going to have a conversation with Joey right now. And they were like, sit back down.
Oh.
Like, not got anyone to have to
follow
this conversation right now. I was like, I want to speak to him now.
Fine. Okay.
So yeah, it was definitely made it difficult in that sense. But.
Yeah, I saw you said you were quite naughty because you'd always like kiss when you weren't supposed to, speak when you weren't meant to. Have you always been like that at school and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was a sociable child. That's what they called it. Like I'm not very good at following instructions.
Parents' evening. She's a sociable one.
Sociable one.
That's our Jessy. She's sociable.
Literally. It follows through.
I've got a question which I really want to ask, but I need to make sure I ask this properly. Did you feel the criticism of people saying that you would back Joey regardless of his actions? Did you think that was warranted? Because there was a lot of that online. They're like, she'll just back whatever he says. But did you feel like that was fair?
No, absolutely not. I think in there, I would back Joey in public and then pull him up in private. I don't think if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't ever embarrass the person you're with.
Sure, I agree.
Public. So I'd only back him when I thought I needed to. He can back himself. He's very, very much good at
very strong-minded. Yeah.
So I don't think he needed me to back him most of the time, but I would back him if I deemed it necessary. And at the same time, I think I was just translating for him half the time. He is not very good at saying what he means.
Right, okay.
I'd have to be like, well, he didn't mean that. He meant this. But obviously that comes across as me backing.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I think if you're saying that, they're like, well, he's a grown man. He can speak for himself.
Yeah.
But I do agree that sometimes in the heat of the moment, in a stressful situation, you're just going to say, you know, what you think.
He didn't think before he speaks sometimes. Or he'd say it in a way that he didn't mean. And I understand, if I understood what he meant, then I'd try and articulate that better.
Yeah, I get you.
At the same time, I would never back him if I thought he was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'd absolutely pull him up on it. But I'm not going to embarrass him in public. And
Yeah.
I think that's embarrassing for me if I go against him and we're arguing whilst he's arguing with somebody. It's not how I'd go about it in the outside world, so it's not how I go about it.
I think a lot of couples do that as well, though, because you wouldn't want to embarrass your partner. Because, like, if you disagree with them, then they really feel like, oh, like I've really messed up. But I think there was a scene when you did pull him into the fire pit and it got really heated between you two because you did back him and then you were like, you're wrong. And then I remember he had like his head in his hands. Yeah, did the typical Joey thing where he's like
at him. Yeah, dramatic.
He loves it. And he's like, camera one.
Yeah, like, you watching me? Yeah, no.
But you also backed him even when he wasn't there, which was the comments about his intelligence in Casa. And I thought that was quite really nice from you because it was very early on in your connection. You'd obviously been through a lot and Casa was probably quite a test for you both. And then for you to be like, actually, I don't agree with that. It was quite nice for you to, you know, stand up for that because Blade came in and just went ham.
Yeah, he was just going at everyone, wasn't he? But I would have done that for anyone. And at that point, I was so convinced that Joey was off with somebody else anyway.
Were you?
Yeah, I was so convinced. I was going, he's probably in the hideaway with all six of them at this point.
So
I was so convinced he'd be gone, but I would have backed anyone if someone's coming at them. And obviously, I know it was Blade that said it, but he's never met Joey. So I don't think...
He's only seen public perception,
yeah, and
hasn't
the way I came in, I went in and didn't slate anybody. I didn't say, oh, well, you're missing something here, or you're a different person, or this person's not good at you, because I don't think if you can, that's the only way you can pull someone, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. So I don't like the fact that he wasn't there to defend himself, so I'll obviously defending him because he is way smarter than everyone makes out. And I didn't like that he was going off his public perception. Yeah, of course. Never met him before, so 100% backed him there. Yeah, and I think with the Casa thing, I'm really surprised that you thought that, because when I was watching it, I knew that he would stay loyal. Did you? Because you're not the only one. Because when I watched it, I thought he's obviously been through a lot in there, and he really liked you, and I thought, you've got to be some form of like nutter to have then gone, oh, hey, Emma, like, I know you, like, let's do something. So I thought 100%, but the only thing that did make me laugh was how much he was a catalyst for all the other guys. Like the way he sat Sean down. I thought, this is so dangerous. He was like, just do it. Enjoy yourself, whatever. We knew he'd be like that. So when we went into it, I was like, right, I'm going to get to know someone. I'll bring someone back because Joey will. And everyone kept saying to me, you know, he's gone already. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, in the back of my mind, I was like, but will he be gone? Yeah. Like, I actually think he really likes me. But then obviously, based on his history in there, I had to protect myself. Yeah. I was getting to know people, but I just didn't fancy anyone as much as I was going to say, was there anyone at all that you kind of liked in Casa, or? Not really. No, I was obviously speaking to people. Yeah. But there was nothing. It's hard because obviously Grace had that thing with Messiah and Blade. So you're like, I'm not going to do it again. No, like, no way. There's no way. So you're not going to do that. And then, I mean, there was the other few didn't really have much airtime at all, to be fair. So I didn't know how many chats they were having. There was a poor bloke on there that didn't actually speak. Yeah, the whole time. Which is always a risky run. He was trying to chat to me and I was. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. So I think there was nothing to be shown in my conversations. Yeah.
It was like a slumber party with like butlers in the buff, basically.
Literally
Sorry,
was,
Blaze.
yeah.
But it was, wasn't it? Because you
100%.
girls were just all together doing your own thing.
Girls had a great time, but wasn't necessarily involving the boys, bless them.
Yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to speak about was actually, we'll go into the film festival and then into the talent show because I'm gagging to speak about the talent show. In the film festival, keep saying movie night, but they changed it this year. Don't know why.
Yeah, the graffitis or the movie night?
The movie night, yeah.
Film festival, okay.
How was that for you? Because everything always gets heated on those nights, and there was a lot with Joey during that time as well.
Yeah, it was intense. We knew it was going to be like a intense.
Yeah.
I think his was the first clip, and it was literally just showing me and him, and it then kicked off a lot with him and Grace, and they were both backing themselves. And obviously, I think Joey got stick for telling Grace to shut up, but obviously Grace was telling him to shut up as well. So it was a lot. And I think I saw when it came out, I saw like fan edits of me pulling faces because I was looking at Joey like, stop now, because he'd literally he'd go to say something, look at me, and they'd be like, I was like, yeah, stop.
Yeah.
But it was very intense, and everyone's obviously encouraged to just say their opinion. So everyone's going at it with everyone, and it was very intense. And I think obviously not nice to see Joey and Grace on the clips together as well.
Yeah, it's both sides, isn't it? Because she's not enjoying it and you're not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then I heard from other Islanders that night as well that like there's certain arguments that might have been not staged, that's the wrong word, kind of like pushed by the
encouraged.
Yeah, encouraged is the right word I was looking for. And so it's hard because you're kind of beefing, but you're beefing over something that probably wasn't that deep.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
everyone kind of, the way I see it in there is that, you know, if someone annoys you, and it's like, oh, you're an idiot. But then it's like, I don't actually care, it's not that deep. You kind of have to stick with the initial emotion or else it doesn't make sense on TV. Because because it's like, why, how did they resolve that? But it's just because you like give it up. So that's why you have the conversations and you say what you need to say and get it all out. So yeah, it was definitely hard to watch that because obviously me and Grace were friends at this point.
I was going to say,
solidly with Joey. There were those who were never going to go back to each other, but then watching them go back and then all the arguments that were happening based on stuff that's happened weeks ago. Yeah. And everyone's over it, but at the same time now it's bringing all the emotion back up again. So it was definitely, it was a lot.
You were finally like settled in with everything.
Literally, I was like, people like me now.
Bring back the exes clips and stuff. Yeah.
They show like me speaking to Will and I was like, me and Uma are like really close now. And now you're bringing that back up. I was like, there's so much shit.
I know. But I mean, you came back from that quite well. And as you said, it's that scene kind of like a challenge. So you kind of leave that in that moment, although there were some massive arguments after that. But, you know, so the talent show.
The talent show.
I saw some viral clips of people reenacting your stilt moment.
The guy on the stools killed me. I
actually know him, Austin.
No way.
It's so funny. I was crying the next day.
I went through my TikTok and it was like everyone had sent me that.
Really?
This is too much. It's
so I really want to know. I know you explained it on the show, but just tell us again, like how that became your hidden talent.
Well, this was like when I was like 15, right? I used to be part of like the theatre in Leicester, so it was like the young company, and just did it as like a hobby.
Okay, fine. How old were you?
I think I was like 16. I'll give it 16.
Okay.
And it was like summer holidays, and it was like, do you want to perform in the Rugby World Cup parade in Leicester? So I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. So I turned up and they were like, right, so you're going to learn stilt walk. So we got taught to stilt walk by German circus professionals that they'd flown in from Germany. And yeah, stilt walked in the Rugby World Cup parade. So it's the most random story ever. And then it works.
Did you say to the producers, I need stilts? Like, how did that happen?
No, I didn't. So when I flew out there, I was in holding for like 2.5 weeks. But when I flew out there, I was supposed to go in within 24 hours.
Okay.
So you have these forms to fill out based on like, tell us about you, your relationship history, anything like how many people have you kissed, what skills have you got? And I'm the least talented person.
Not the Love Island questionnaire. I want to do one.
Literally, there's so many of them. So I had to do it in like 10 minutes when I was on the way to the villa.
Okay.
And it said like, what's your special skill and your talent? And I was like, I'm so untalented. It hurts. Like my talent is how untalented I am.
Right.
I'm so bad at everything. So I learned stilt walk when I was younger. So I just put stilt walking thinking they're not going to get me stilts.
Yeah.
And then it came to the talent show. We got the text. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I have no talent. I can't sing. I can't dance. Can't do any of this. Walked out to the commercial team. And they have to have an idea of what's going on. Because they can't do sometimes. But so that they can put on a good show. We
Right,
walked out
fine.
and they're like, how are you feeling? I was like, terrified. Just tell me what I'm doing. They're
Yeah.
like, so we heard you can still walk. And I was like, you've not got me stilts, so that we have. They found a random geezer in the middle of Mallorca to borrow his stilts. A bit dodgy, so they taped me into them. I haven't done this in like 10 years. And so I always had to practice in like the terrace of the hideaway, just walking around up and down the steps of the hot tub on my own, and these stilts, and they made me walk across the gravel and walk up the steps. And
On TV, that is crazy because you could have just fallen like that.
there was no fact check either. There was no health and safety. They didn't say like, how have you done this? They just said, here are your stilts, go. I was like, I haven't done this in 10 years. And
You could have been the first
I could
person to
lie.
get roasted alive on the fire pit by falling on stilts.
Literally, I was like speed walking throughout the whole thing. I was like running because I was like, I can't fall in the fire
Didn't
pit.
you get Joey up as well while she was on the stilts?
And I had to, when we practiced, they were like, bend down and act like you're kissing Joey. So I knew I was going to,
Right.
if I'm going to do it, I'm going to walk around the fire pit and I'll pull Joey up. I'll give him a little kiss. And they were like, health and safety wise, you need to bend down. So that's the only health and safety check. They were like, right, try and bend down. So I was like squatting on these stilts. So it was, there was no fact check.
That is
can't believe they let me do it.
crazy. I had this vision of you rocking up to the airport on your Jet2 flight with stilts
With
in
stilts,
hand.
yeah, no,
Your Love Island case.
There were some random geezers. I was like, I can't believe they make, and they were so dodgy. They literally taped me into
That
them.
is so wild. It was one of my personal faves of all time on Love Island.
Oh, amazing.
Like it really was because everyone does the typical things, you know what I mean? It was you and Ruben singing through me
singing
this
in the
year.
rain.
So
I loved it.
I actually loved them. And then on to meeting the parents. This was actually, again, one of my favourite meeting the parents because everyone comes in and kind of, is very lovey-dovey and it's so nice to meet you. And your parents came in and were like on smoke.
Yeah.
They said we're going to grill. Obviously.
I thought they'd be a lot worse.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it?
I did expect a lot worse.
Yeah. So how did you feel when that was all happening and kicking, well, I say kicking off, but just that stern talking to was happening?
I expected it. So whilst we were waiting, obviously we were the last family to come in. The whole time I was like, oh my God, like this. Obviously me and Joey had an argument the night before.
Yeah.
So it was, we hadn't had a chance to properly sort that out.
A lot of people had arguments the night before that, didn't they? I think Matilda and Sean as
A
well.
few drinks that night, that's why. I went drunk. Yeah.
Oh. What, did you steal other people's or did you find a stash?
No, so the Grafties, they gave us normally 1 or 2 wines a night, but it was like within like 3-4 hours. They gave us 3 or 4 within like an hour. So it was steaming, yeah.
Love that.
So yeah, we had a little argument the night before, and I was sat there, and everyone was like, "Why are you so nervous?" I was like, "My dad will not care. He will if he doesn't like you or if he has an opinion, he will come in and say it."
Yeah.
My mum's the same, but I didn't know my mum was coming in at this point because that was a complete surprise to me.
Oh,
But
was
I knew
it?
My dad would.
Okay,
So I was
fine.
like, Dad will come in here and say whatever's on his mind.
Yeah.
So I was terrified.
Oh, she didn't know about your mum as well.
No, 'cause
Oh.
my sister was going to fly back from Australia, but she couldn't get back in time. My mum said she would never do it. And then when I saw her, yeah, it was really sweet.
And your mum was the one that really was the most stern, to be fair.
Yeah. So we came over and obviously sat with Joey and his family, and I was waiting for this. And they said they liked him, so I was like, okay, that's a good start. So imagine I sat down on the daybeds and they were like, don't like him.
Yeah.
And she, like internally screamed.
Yeah.
Don't know what I would have done at that point because.
What can you do?
It's a
You've
lot.
got to go over
well,
and
I'm
speak to
still
them.
in here. Yeah, now I go off and meet his family and you hate him, so that's really good. But
Yeah.
I loved him. So we went over and Mum told him off for being disrespectful, or he could.
I think it was towards
more
Grace,
respectful.
wasn't
Yeah.
it? Which I actually thought was really lovely of her to say because
Girls go.
it was giving girls go, and I thought that was really nice because Grace did have it hard at some points in there, so that was really nice.
Yeah, I think she just wanted to like let him know that she knows he's better than to be bringing that up, and that
Yeah.
there's no need. And Frankie had said the same to Joey as well. So it was just when she started saying, "There's just one thing for me," I was like, "Oh my God, what's she going to come out with here?" Because she can come out with anything.
Yeah, same as my mum.
Yeah, literally do not care, like say their opinion. So I was happy with how she said it, and he took it on board, and he said that he appreciates her opinion. So he handled it well as well. Because he could have easily gone back and been like,
Yeah, what?
yeah, well, it was a show. And then my dad literally turned around to him and was like, "Don't fuck it up." And then he went, "Oh, I wasn't supposed to swear." It was like, and Joe was like, "Well, I'm not going to fuck it up." And I was like, "Oh, bless him." Then bonding.
And then your dad became the internet's DILF of this season of Love Island.
Came out to articles.
I've seen a TikTok fan cam about your dad the other night. How has that been?
It's insane. Like I've had, even everyone on production kept saying to me, "Your dad."
I can imagine the girls in Mallorca at that villa who haven't seen another man in months are probably thinking,
Tills and
DILF.
Nicole would not stop going on. Every time I spoke about my family afterwards, Matilda would be like, "Matthew." And I was like, "Yes, still, it's Matthew." It was literally like, they were like, "Oh, is this the first time you've had this?" I was like, "No, My friends have
you
been
had it all
saying
the
it my
time
whole
growing up?
life. I came out,
Yeah.
my friends were like, they were trying to steal my man. I was like, he's not your man. But yeah, it was funny and he loves it.
I was going to say, is he enjoying the attention from
like
it?
silver fox. Every time I put a story on, he's like replies saying like, Dilf, your dad. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
He goes to the local pub and gets his photo taken. Like, he's loving it.
Oh, I'm loving that for him as well.
Yeah, I know, bless him.
And how was it knowing with Joey's sister and his nan, because they were so lovely to you and so welcoming and supportive. I
Yeah.
bet that felt really nice as well.
Yeah, I was terrified to meet them because Joe was like, why would they hate you? I was like, I don't think they'll hate me as a person. I don't think I'm giving them a reason to. I think they'll like me as a person, but you can like someone and not think they're right for the person.
And the situation was a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they've obviously watching it, they've seen him going through so much. So yeah, I get that.
I didn't think, I wouldn't want them to come in and say, we like her, but I'm not sure she's it for you, or we like you more with somebody else. That would have been like awful.
Yeah.
So when they came in, they said they really liked me and that his mum would really like me. That was so sweet.
And his nan as well.
Yeah, she's so cute. Honestly, iconic.
Have you met his dad yet?
No.
Have you not?
Yet, no.
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous. We thought it would be the big Don coming into the villa. So even Joey was like,
Oh,
my
did he
God.
think?
Yeah, he thought he might, but he was really happy with his nan and sister coming in. So it was really sweet.
I feel like everyone in Essex knows everyone because my dad knows Joey's dad.
No way.
Because they all used to hang out when they were younger.
Yeah,
So
I feel like it's one of those places.
It's
isn't
so
it?
one of those places. So, it's so cute.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet him, but not yet.
Okay, not yet. Well, let me know when you do.
You will do.
The boys' dates at the end of the series, they didn't do the big ones this
No,
year.
they
Were you
didn't.
shocked by that?
Well, I was a massive speculator in there, so we're all trying
I
to
heard about
work
this
it
as
out.
well.
Yeah.
You were like trying to decipher all the mysteries. Of the
Yeah,
villa.
literally. And I've watched the show before, so we get a text and be like, Jessy, what does this mean? No, it's like we were trying to like work it out, and I get told off all the time.
Would you?
So then we were trying, it was getting closer and closer to the end. We were like, I don't think we're doing these final dates. And then they did the final, I think obviously the budget got blown on flying all the islanders back out, didn't it?
Oh,
But
yeah. I thought about
So I
that.
think that's why it was.
Right. Not you literally going through the P&L of Love Island and being like, I think the budget went
budget is
here.
gone.
Yeah. It went to the villa where they're being held.
But I think because everyone's too happy, people like stop watching it. Like, because everyone wants the drams.
I was going to say, and I always say this, when it gets to the last week, I do,
Switch off.
I do get my social life back a bit. I do go out because I'm like,
exactly.
they're not going to
Not invested,
fall out,
no.
whatever. So
I think we did have dramas quite close to the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they did it well to keep people engaged this year.
And your date was cute.
And the date was cute. It did look like a gender reveal.
You had your gender reveal, you had your teddy.
And I had the teddy.
Yeah, which was really cute.
It was cute. And I had the oven pizza.
And the oven pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cute. How did you feel about the flowers for Mimi? Because I thought that was a really cute thing.
It was so cute. We were sat on the day beds and we saw them go for a chat. We were like, I really hope this goes well because Joe really does value Mimi as a friend.
Yeah.
Mimi's one of my best friends in there. Like I got on so well with all the girls. I was like, this is causing tension for me with the girls, even though we tried to not let it get between us.
And it was hard because she literally was like, "You're a dickhead."
Yeah,
and
literally,
for Mimi to blow, even when she's like that, I thought, she's pissed.
She's hit her
Yeah.
limit. Yeah. So that was all him. Like obviously they went out to do the final date things, and he knew he needed to do like a big gesture to prove that he didn't actually want to hurt her.
Yeah.
So we all saw him bring the flowers. Like,
It was
he's
really
actually really sweet.
Yeah.
It was really cute. And I think that proved to Mimi that she was on his mind and that he did care.
Yeah.
So it's just like, obviously it's a gesture, isn't it? So yeah.
I think it's hard as well in that situation with Joey because I think everyone knows that he's such a showman and he's so good at like what he does. But then on the flip side, I guess it's hard, isn't it? Because on a low day in there, you would take that more personally than you would if you were just like,
Exactly.
I'm in Love Island, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think just like by the end, I guess there's so many factors like people missing home. If you just seen your parents and then you miss them, like, it's going to be heightened emotions, but it all leveled out really nice towards the final.
It did.
And then I just found it hard after all of that to then when you guys got dumped because it all like kind of went into a really nice place.
Honestly.
Then all of the islanders came back in and that's when it got really rough for you guys.
It was, yeah.
My mum says hi, by the way, and she says sorry she can't be here, and she said that she really didn't like that episode where you got chucked out because she felt like it was a big attack on you both.
Yeah.
And it's hard, as I just said, not to take it personally when you're kind of friends of a lot of these people, then all of a sudden you've got this
Everyone's
sea
saying
of
it,
the cast. So one, did that take a long time to film? And two, how was the whole experience?
Yeah, it did take a while because obviously everything we did in there takes a long time.
Yeah.
Especially when there's that many people in there. We had to have like multiple breaks in between because it was so hot on that day as well. We just stood there.
I wanted to ask this because Maya was under the tree and I thought it must have been hot because she was in the shade.
Yeah, hidden. And we were like stood down.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah, it was so hot. But it wasn't a nice way to leave. I think everyone that had left, it was especially towards the end, it was, like, at least you're leaving together. It's really happy. Good for you. I love you. Miss you. Whatever. And then our one, yes, it was iconic, but we knew we were going straight as well.
Yeah.
So I can walk through. We were like, here we go.
Yeah.
So we were mentally preparing, but it wasn't a nice way to leave because obviously the question was, who do you think is least compatible?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough if you do think we're the least compatible.
But I don't think it was that.
It wasn't.
It was just like every vendetta possible.
attacks.
And obviously, like, Joey did piss a lot of people off in there.
I said that. Maya was like, any final words? I was like, I wish you didn't piss everyone off.
Because I could see it in your eyes. You're like, oh, it's like everyone that wanted to get their, last word in had that chance.
They had their karma.
And obviously, you had both Sams. Obviously, Sam number 1 had his journey cut short. You had Sam number 2 that, so I knew when I was watching it, I thought this is going to be a rough
Honestly,
one.
I think the fact that we knew that it wasn't about compatibility, we knew it was about a grudge, was because if we had given you a list of those people that were coming back in, we could say they're going to vote for us, they're going to vote for us because of these reasons.
Yeah.
We would have got a spot on.
Yeah.
There were a couple of surprises, so like Hugo was random, but everybody else we knew.
Yeah. What was Hugo's reasoning? Was it just
him and Joey and Lola?
Oh, okay.
I mean, there was no interest there.
Right.
Whatever. But
yeah,
it was definitely personal vendettas. That's why I was like annoyed. I was more frustrated because I was like, this isn't about a couple, which is what it should have been about. But at the same time, it was an iconic moment to leave. Got pied in front of Maya Jama, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And then obviously got to do after sun. So it was fun, but I think Joey got a lot of stick in that moment. And I didn't like the fact that they were coming for him.
I think, it was hard because there was moments where some people's reasons were really valid. And like, look, I stand by what Sam said because her journey was cut short with what happened. And I think she would have loved to have, gone back in. But I think there were some people, as you said, where it was a bit like, what? Yeah. And then, it was a hard one to watch. And then you obviously went out, and then I think there was a few days, wasn't there, between that and the final? So coming back into the final together and seeing all the Islanders again, was that okay? Was there any weird vibes?
No, I think, I don't want to say too much. We basically went into a holding villa before we went to the final. Okay. So we saw all of them there, and everyone kept coming up to me saying, I'm so sorry, you seem like such a nice person. Yeah. And like, had to do what we had to do in there. Obviously, like, it is a TV show at the end of the day. Some people didn't vote for us, even though it was a lot of people holding a grudge. Yeah. And like, they could have been a bigger person, but whatever. Yeah. But it wouldn't make sense to the public if a lot of people didn't vote for us. So we kind of just like, whatever, like, we get it. We know how this all works. But it was, a bit awkward. We both walked in and we were like...
I was going to say, because after that happening, it's like having an argument with a friendship group and then you're having to like see them again and suss everyone out, and then it's on telly. Exactly. As well.
And at that point, we didn't know why, like, if they'd hate us. And obviously, like, half the people that chose us hadn't even met me. And so they didn't actually know our character.
Actually, that's very fair.
So when I went back into it, meeting them all, we were both like, oh my God, this is going to be so awkward. But it wasn't too bad. At first, it was a bit like, hey, TikTok.
How y'all doing?
How you doing? It was a bit like that. But then I'm a very easygoing person, and Joey knows how it all works as well. So we got over it quite quickly. But it was never nice to leave in that way. Yeah.
And how was the Joey and Sean situation resolved? Because that was quite tense when you guys left.
Yeah. And the way that Joey explained it, again, it made it seem like we'd chosen them to bring them down with us, which wasn't the case. Yeah. What Joey meant was that we'd chosen them because we had to go off who'd had the most arguments and tiffs recently, and that was them. And obviously, we couldn't vote for ourselves.
I also think that in that situation, if you voted for Mimi and Josh, I mean, it probably would have been the worst thing ever.
Everyone literally came for us for saying, oh, well, Joey's a game player because he's trying to make Sean and Matilda have the more votes than them, which wasn't the case. Joey just meant that we had the most tiffs, they had the most tiffs, so we understood why people voted for us, and the reason why we voted for them was because they had the most arguments. So he didn't explain it very well there. And so then as soon as we went to the final, Joey and Sean had a little bit of a chat there, And then they had a proper phone call about it after, and Joey was like,
Right.
that's not what I meant. I didn't. Obviously, I think Joey was hurt by Sean saying, well, yeah, maybe he's a game player. They had such a strong
I
friendship
know.
in
They were
there.
like brothers. Like Sean was like his like
Little
protege.
bro. Yeah, little bro.
Yeah, it was like that, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm glad they sorted it out.
Yeah,
anyway.
and they are really close still. And obviously
Yeah.
saw him, what day did it say? Friday. We saw him on Wednesday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we saw him a few days ago. And
That's
literally
cute.
there's no bad blood between them. And yeah, I think it was just miscommunication with that.
Yeah, I mean, always in the
Yeah,
villa. It seems like
seriously.
that's the running theme. And is there anyone that you've stayed particularly close with since leaving? Like you and Joey, have you seen many people?
I think we see them a lot of events. Obviously, speak to a lot of people, like over message and stuff.
Yeah.
We do now have a girls group chat, and
Oh,
then there's
do you?
a big boy chat with all the boys because Hugo is organising this event in Ibiza, and then the girls are organising a big meetup.
Blimey.
Yeah, it's nice to chat to everyone, but wouldn't say there's anyone that I'm specifically really close with.
Yeah.
Since leaving. So yeah, it's people drift and
Just doing your own thing.
everyone's so busy, and
Yeah.
we're probably not each other's priority at this point because obviously it's family and
And
our partners and everything. So.
Exactly. And I feel like it's nice sometimes to come out and spend a bit more time in real life away from everything.
Yeah.
Because you can get caught up in things, can't you? If you're doing all of these. I know I've seen a lot of people at events and it gets really messy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. I said it yesterday because it's killed me. That there was a sponsors party, was that right? With eBay and everyone, a kind of reunion.
Yeah.
And then that's
After
when
party.
Diamond and Ruby had that.
The live.
And I keep seeing it and it's just so wild to me. I said it
Insane.
feels like it wasn't real.
Honestly, there's so much drama outside. We left the villa and then there's still so much drama even
Carrying
outside
on.
of that. And it's
I know.
is it because we all met amongst drama now that we're just, every time we see each other's drama now?
Yeah.
'Cause I haven't had drama since high school.
I know
So-
some of it felt really unnecessary as well.
Yeah, it's
but-
like we're still on the show with some of
Gotta
the
love
drama that's
it.
been going on recently. I'm not
Yeah,
involved.
drop
Keep
me
me out
out.
of this.
Drop me out.
I'm not on the TV show anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
It
having
was
me.
so lovely to chat to you and spend time with you. So I wish you guys all the best, and hopefully I'll see you both again. Again, hopefully I'll see you both at Sheesh soon.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Monkfish kebab, fucking love it. And guys, if you're watching at home, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're watching on Spotify, make sure to rate us 5 stars. That's the one. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much.